Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another exciting episode of In My Element with Neela, and I'm your co-host, Turk Ray. Welcome and good morning, grand risings, and all those other daily greetings. Blessed to be amongst the living again today. So breathe, enjoy the day. So today I'll be discussing three more of the 45 Black female prosecutors, state's attorneys, district attorneys, judges. It's just Black women in law that are lawmakers here in the United States. So today it will be the day that I discuss those women. And one more time. All right. So I don't know if everybody knows how many Black female lawmakers we have. Well, today I have all the statistics. I have all the numbers, and I will be discussing them. Morning, Ama. How you doing today? Glad to see you with us again today. Appreciate you being here. And yes, it's Wisdom Wednesdays. And so I will be discussing Black female lawmakers in the United States. I'm going to probably name like about 15 or 20, and then I'm going to pick out 3 of them and then Google them so we can find out where they went to college, what position they hold, what positions they held. Sometime I can even get information on their parents and stuff like that. It's according to what they have in here when I Google them. I don't want to have to go in there and say, oh, well, give me a short bio of Fannie T. Willis. And go in there and they got a piece in there 20 feet long, and they, telling you everything from what size baby shoe she wore to when, she started shooting basketball in high school. But I'll get into that in a few. But I did want to talk about this morning, since we're on the topic of women. We had a lady, I don't know if anybody else heard this story, but it was a lady here, Black female, and a police officer was shaking down a kid here in Georgia. And so when the police officer was searching him, she pulled over. And so she asked, officer, can I help? Is there a problem? What's going on? because the young boy was very young. He's like 10 or 11 years old, and the police is searching him, got him stretched out like he a grown man. So the lady pulled over and said, this is traumatic to a young black child, who's already afraid of police because they hear on the news how police kill black males. And so she asked him, what gives you the right to search a child like that? And so the officer said, oh, he stole something out of the store. And so he had chased him from a Dollar General. She said, but if he's only 10 or 11 years old, you don't have the right to search him. You need to contact his parents, because you don't have any rights over a child to just stop them and start frisking them, and you ready to put cuffs on a kid. So he got all upset until he found out that she was a lawyer. And so the officer, after he found out that she actually was a lawyer and working for the city of Atlanta, like an assistant to the DA or something like that, he kind of backed down. Morning, Bonnie. Glad to have you on this morning. So when the police officer found out that she worked for the city and all of that, then he started, giving her some respect. And so he let the kid go, and so she took the child home and talked to his mother and all of that. And I don't know how it got to the news, but I guess the mother of the child, got the story to the news. But I just wanted to bring that story up because black women in America are starting. We're not starting. They've been protecting black men, since they brought Africans over here, and since they used the indigenous people of America in slavery. So I just wanted to bring that up, and I want to talk on Fannie Lou Hamer today too. Blood Brother Mike had brought her up yesterday while we were talking, but it just was really enlightening to me, to go back in there and read up on her again, to know how great she was, because she was a lawmaker and had no law degree. She changed voting rights. Well, she was the one that got them to change voting rights and created the Voting Rights Bill. And now we see Fannie Lou Hamer's work being pecked away at and destroyed by white supremacy, because they're trying to block this. They want to do voter suppression. So when you do voter suppression, what that does is block people from being able to vote in a strategic area. So we know that they're trying to keep people of color from voting. So with that being said, and all over the country, I really believe that this war in Ukraine, and they got 3 million refugees out of there. I bet you $50 to a bucket of shit. Watch how many white people that they let in here from the Ukraine. But if you coming from Haiti or Mexico, they building a wall on that border. They don't want no more people in, not of color. But watch you, I guarantee you, we gonna get at least 500,000 or 600,000 of those people to come over here, and they gonna give them all citizenship. They gonna give them a place to stay. They ain't gonna pay no taxes for about 5 or 10 years. They gonna get them business loans. They gonna be able to get bank loans for houses once they establish themselves in jobs and in business. They're gonna cover the cloak of white supremacy and white privilege is gonna cover them too. And we know that they're racist against Afrocoid people or Pan Africans, because if you've been following the news, they don't show this much, but they blocked a lot of Black students, African mothers with children that were actually living there, and they made them wait and keep their lives in danger until they got all of the white refugees out, and then they start letting the Africans get on stuff to get out. You know, I was like, it doesn't matter if you live in the United States, Europe, Africa, Asia, South America. It's still a double standard when it comes to skin color. You got the brown bag test. If you white, you right. If you yellow, you mellow. If you brown, hang around. But if you Black, get back. And that's just how they run it. The lighter you are, the more privilege you have. The darker you are, the more you look down on. But if any of you have been on my Facebook page and seen what I've been posting, I posted an African professor on there, and he was talking about melanin. And he was saying melanin is a chemical in the body that's mostly known for making your skin pigment darker. But it's not talked about all of the other things that melanin does in the body. Like melanin allows your brain capacity to be larger, to be able to withhold more information than a person who doesn't have as much melanin as you. So that means the darker you are, the more intelligent you are. And there's actual scientific studies that prove this. It also is, if you're the darker complected you are, the more humanitarian you are. And these are scientific facts. Also, melanin has a great deal to do with transmission of signals in your body through your nervous system. So that means your reflexes are better, your immune system is stronger. It just does so many things in the body beside just make your skin dark that it's just incredible. It just go in one day and just Google melanin. If it wasn't such a great chemical to have for your body, why would they harvest it and then sell it in lotions? They've tried to make a synthetic melanin. So when they make synthetic melanin, it can't be the same. You know, it's like anything that they make that's synthetic is not as good as the original. So it's the same with melanin. But that's a subject I just wanted to touch on this morning, because I had did some posts on my Facebook and Instagram page on melanin and Black females, just a lot of different stuff I had been putting on there. And it's a African female author that I posted on there. I'm not going to attempt to say her name, but I'll figure it out, because one day, probably next Wednesday, I'll be speaking on her because she's really exposing a lot of things on the internet, talking to dignitaries in Europe about returning stolen antiquities from Africa, because most of your European antiquities museums have Africoid pieces in it that have been stolen over the years and never been returned. And she's not asking for the diamonds they stole. Like the Queen has a $400 million diamond called the Eye of Africa that was stolen by her father's regime, but she's not going to return it. And they're not asking for them to return it, even though they know it came from the Congo and they know who stole it. And today, if you receive stolen goods, it's a crime. But for you to have $400 million worth of stolen antiquities, and for it not to be a crime, is he who has the gold make the rule standard. So she's not going to return it, and she's not asking her to. She's just asking, could they please return the spiritual antiquities that they have stolen out of there? So I'll be speaking on her next week. But today I want to talk about Black female lawmakers. We have 45 chief prosecutors, female lawmakers, and all of them are women of color. So I'm going to name a few. But first, I want to give some statistics. It's only 45 of these female lawmakers that are of color that are getting together as one group, and they're actually implementing things in different counties and different states in very racist areas. And I want to give you the percentage of just how little they are, but how strong they're becoming because of where they're implementing their strategy. So it's only 1.84% Black females that are elected officials out of 2,400 in the lawmaking areas of our country. And it's 11.2% Black male. Then you have 22% white female. And then we have the disparity. Here's where the problem is. You have 73% white males that are running our law system here in the United States. And so you wonder why there's a disparity in the way that Blacks and Hispanics are locked up in these jails. Is because we have a disparity of people in power that are prosecuting attorneys and district attorneys and attorney generals and state's attorneys. So with 73%, and this is for 2021. So you know what the disparity was 20 years ago. You know, we probably had 0.3% female and maybe 4% Black males, about 11% white females, and it was like 86% white males. And so that's how we happen. Hey, good morning, busy mama. Glad to see you on this morning. We missed you the last couple of days, but I know you've been working and busy. So your Monica speaks for itself. And so I was just talking about these 45 female chief prosecutors, judges, district attorneys, attorney generals, that are all over the United States that are working together as one conglomerate or one group, and they're actually growing in numbers. And we have women that are in place for elections now that are going to higher jobs and helping to fill in the jobs they're leaving with other females of color. Yeah, I figured that. Busy Mama said work has been on her so hard and for her to keep up. So we understand that. So I want to name a few of these strong Black women, since we're still in National Women's Month. I want to toot the horn of these women that are out here to try to protect some of these Black males from being incarcerated, wrongfully charged and fictitious paperwork and all of that. We need clerks and people that are doing paperwork, to be honest and stuff, for the courts, and not be persuaded by somebody to add, different stuff in the paperwork, padding information and all of that. But I just want to name some of these women. So the first one I have is Fannie T. Willis. She's from Fulton County, Georgia. Then we have Monique Worrell, Orange County, Florida. Now, all of these women are chief prosecutors that I'm naming first, and then I'll name state's attorneys, and it's a couple of judges in here. Monique Worrell, Sanaya T. DeBerry, she's from Durham, North Carolina. Dolly Hunt, she's from Aurelia County, Washington. Akila A. Jordan from Cayuga County, Cleveland. Lanice Washington from Ohio. Akila Jordan is from Cayuga County. That's Cleveland, Ohio. Lanice Washington is from Jefferson County, Alabama. Jennifer Webb McCrae, Cumberland County, New Jersey. Sherry Boston, DeKalb County, Georgia. And we got a boatload of women in Georgia that's getting into law legislation. We need just more vigilant people who are humble and sincere. That's what Busy Mama said. And that's for sure. And it really doesn't matter what color they are. We just need people that have humanitarian spirits. Hey, Frugal Mama, good morning. We just need those women and men to stand up for humanity. It don't matter what color you are. When Black people fight for civil rights, they've never say, we just want it for Black people. We don't want everybody, to have the same rights. We're not looking for privilege. We just want the same privilege that everybody else is afforded here in America. Just give us a fair shake. Stop padding stuff and locking us up for no reason. And you mad because Black people are moving up and becoming more prominent in the government and all of that type of stuff. And then you're trying to take us back 5 or 6, 100 years. You want to take us back to slavery time. You want to shut everything down. It's like they don't want to give anybody a fair shake. Morning, Linda Shaw. Good to have you on. Yep, but let me continue. Jennifer Webb McCrae, Cumberland County, New Jersey. Sherry Boston, DeKalb County, Georgia. Kimberly Fox, Cook County, Chicago, Illinois. Rachel Rollins, Suffolk City, Maine. No, Suffolk City, Maryland. And Marilyn Mosby, Baltimore, Maryland. Donna Coleman, Striblin and DeKalb County, Georgia is where she's from. Latia Tish James, New York. Darcel Denise Clark, the Bronx County, New York. Diana Beckton, Contra County, California. Aisha N. Brave Boy from Prince George, Maryland. Kim Worthy from Wayne County, Michigan. Brenda F. Mitchell from Bolivar County, Mississippi. LaBravia J. Jenkins, Fredericksburg, Virginia. Stephanie Morales, Portsmouth, Commonwealth, Virginia. Alicia Adams Johnson, Rockdale, Georgia. Damika P. Loggins, Richmond City, Georgia. Tasha Mosley, Clayton County, Georgia. Early Norval Wiley, Kaufman City, Texas. So I just named about 15 or 18 of the 45 women that are in this lawmakers group from the United States that are all women who have pushed for elected positions in different states and in the positions of district attorneys, state's attorneys, judges, clerks for the circuit court, chief justices. I mean, these women are in some high positions. They're coming in at the bottom, but they're moving up to the top. And a lot of these Black females are in counties that are predominantly white areas, you know, where there's a disparity of Blacks going to jail in these counties. That's where they're positioning themselves, because when they do calculations on police, on how many people they take to jail in an area as to how many of that type of people are in that area, if there's a disparity, they know that there's racial profiling. That's something that they're doing new now. If it's a area that's 85% white and the rest is Black, Latino, or non-white, then there's no way in the world that 85% of the people that are getting tickets and going to jail should be Black. Just the reverse of how many people are in an area. So it's really crazy. But they're now, with all of the statistics they keep up with and all of the records with these computers, it's hard to hide, and it's public information. So it can be gone in and found out by anybody. But I'm going to pick a couple of these women and talk about them today. So today I'm going to, the first one I'm going to do is Fannie T. Willis from Fulton County, Georgia. Let's see what they have to say about this lady and what she does. Short bio list.
According to Wikipedia, Willis graduated from Howard University and Emory University School of Law. She spent 16 years as a prosecutor in the Fulton County District Attorney's Office. Her most prominent case was her prosecution of the Atlanta Public Schools cheating scandal. In 2018, she went into private practice.
Now that was in 2018. So I'm going to look more into her and her making history as an attorney. And they keep pulling up something about COVID tests. Free vaccines and boosters. Okay, here we go. Fannie T. Willis is a district attorney for Fulton County, Georgia, the state's largest county and the home to over 1 million Georgians. Fannie T. Willis is one of millions of Georgians home, and that's most of the city of Atlanta is a part of Fulton County. The suburbs, the communities expanding, including Sandy Springs and the city of South Fulton and several smaller communities north and south of Atlanta. She is the first woman to serve in this position. Fannie took office January the 1st, 2021, after ousting a longtime incumbent while campaigning on a commitment to both protect Fulton's neighborhoods and reform Fulton County's criminal justice system by making it fairer for more transparency and focus on reducing crime by changing lives rather than seeking retribution. She also promised the people of Fulton that she would restore integrity and effectiveness to the office. And she has brought in a new team of highly experienced trial lawyers, civic leaders who are committed to making Fulton County's district attorney's office the best in the Southeast and one of the top local prosecutors' offices in the United States. Fannie is a career trial lawyer with deep, broad prosecutorial experience. She has led over 100 jury trials and has prosecuted hundreds of murder cases. She has prosecuted many other serious crimes, including crimes against women, children, and Fannie's 19 years of experience as a prosecutor has given her a deep commitment to focusing her office's prosecutorial efforts on the most dangerous offenders and removing them from society. Part of that commitment is making sure that her office efforts are focused on those cases while also bringing innovative reform to the Fulton County's criminal justice system that diverts offenders to a better life before they become a threat to the community. As a part of her commitment to reform Fulton County's criminal justice system, Fannie has created Fulton's first pre-indictment diversion program, which gives offender who would benefit from a second chance the opportunity to earn one. She is partnering with community organizations to give those offenders, especially young people, the opportunity to gain life skills and responsibilities that comes from community service to have a better path forward than one marred with a criminal record. So Fannie is also committed to reforming this office's handling of cases involving the use of force by law enforcement officers. Before she took office, Fulton County District Attorney's Office had a reputation for failing to announce decisions in such cases and for keeping the public and police departments in the dark. She has created a new transparent process that provides timely answers families and community and police officers about decisions in such cases. She is committed to making those decisions based on the facts, the law, and holding officers accountable when circumstances warrant it. Morning, JB. Good to have you on this morning, my brother. This sister, Fannie T. Willis, is no joke. I mean, she is changing the lives of people, whereas in Fulton County, black folks would just get railroaded, run you right on through, straight into the system. And you know, once they put those numbers on your back, they follow you forever. We hear Nilla talk about it all the time, about trying to get governor's pardon. And it's just the grace of God, the stuff that she's been through, that she's been able to even go to certain universities and get the jobs that she's had that has things to do with money and safes and all of this type of stuff for what she's doing. And so it's just, you know, that's operating in integrity after she got out, that people trusted her like that and signed and became references for people in high places. So, you know, I toot T's horn for that too, for, you know, changing her life and really becoming something, you know, fantastic that, you know, people can look up to, because, you know, a lot of folks don't think you can have it greater later, but it's capable. It's doable if you want it. Morning, Kimberly Mixon Dixon. JB, how you feeling, brother? Hope all is well. Frugal Mama. I was just talking about these 45 female prosecutors that have created a group, and they're changing laws. Doing good. That's good to hear, my man. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead on and finish this right quick so I can go to the next one. And Fannie T. Willis is a proud Bison, graduating from Howard University in 1992. She came to Georgia to attend Emory University School of Law. Graduating in 1996, she chose to make Fulton County her home, and she lives in the city of South Fulton, where she had the honor of serving as chief judge of the municipal court. So this is the bad, you know, the chief judge. I mean, she running all the judges, like the supervisor of the judges. So if you make a decision in the courtroom and she look at it and say, "What you doing?" and find a pattern, you know, she's gonna let them have it. But she's the proud mother of 2 college-age daughters as well. So that's all I wanted to say about her this morning. So I have time to discuss a couple of more of these strong Black sisters, you know, that are changing things legislatively in our country, state by state, county by county. You know, it ain't happened overnight to where they did this type of stuff. So the system is going to have to be processed the same way, a little bit at a time. So let me go to the next young lady on here. Monique Worrell, Orange County, Florida. Short bio of Monique Worrell. And these some fine sisters too that I ain't playing. I know it ain't got nothing to do with what they doing, but it sure is nice that they ain't hard to look at. Okay, let's talk about this young lady here. State's attorney. About your state's attorney. And I ain't playing. That's a nice looking woman. She beautiful. And so was Fannie T. Willis. I had to pull her picture back up. Okay, she's the state's attorney in the 9th Judicial Court. Monique H. Worrell is the state's attorney for the 9th Judicial Court for the state of Florida. She was elected in November of 2020 and serves as chief prosecutor. Monique is the second African-American elected as state's attorney and the first Caribbean descendant. Monique made Central Florida her home in 1996 after receiving her law degree from the University of Florida. In 1999, she began her career as a public defender in Orange County, Florida. She then went on to a private practice where she continued to focus on criminal justice. Monique later became a clinical law professor at the University of Florida College of Law, where she trained law students who aspired to practice criminal law. Because of her passion for keeping youth out of the criminal justice system, Monique developed and implemented the Your Future, Your Choice program to teach youth their rights and responsibilities as a citizen. Monique became a founding director of the university's Criminal Justice Center and developed a rigorous program that has produced many criminal law practitioners across the state of Florida. Monique left the University of Florida to become the founding director of the Conviction Integrity Unit in the state's attorney's office in Orange County, Florida. That's huge, y'all. I promise you. Because it's so, it's a lot of disparity in Florida when it comes to court cases with Black people, because look what happened in the case with Trayvon Martin down there in Winter Park, Florida. They went down there and just made a mockery of that case. It was, first of all, this should have been grounds right here. When they said that the guy that shot Trayvon Martin followed him and called the police first, and they told him to stand down, that's what he was supposed to do. Not get out and ask him what's he doing in the neighborhood, who you looking for. It ain't none of his business. But he got out, and the young boy knew he was being followed. He was afraid because he got some white dude following him in Florida, and they do lynch people there and here in the South. And he was afraid because he's not from Florida. He's there visiting his dad. His dad had just kind of moved new in that neighborhood, and it's a gated, predominantly white community. And so it was a problem with a young Black boy walking through the neighborhood with a hoodie. And we all know how the outcome came out. And for him to be out on the street and selling the gun that they gave him back after he shot the boy, and they made him, justified homicide because it's a stand your ground law. But he approached him. Trayvon didn't approach him. He approached Trayvon. So he should have been locked up in jail for that, for just blatantly disobeying a law from the police. Well, not a law, but an order from the police not to approach him. But she's tackling that. Miss Monique is tackling that stuff to help, with reforming the system there. And so let me see. She's the founding director of the Conviction Integrity Unit in the state's attorney's office of Orange County, Florida. That means she started this program there, where she led the investigation and claims of wrongful convictions. It was that experience that made her realize that change in the criminal legal system was critical and must come from within. Monique is an accomplished criminal justice attorney with experience as a leader, advocate, educator, and administrator. Prior to being elected as state's attorney, she served as chief legal officer at a nonprofit organization focused on criminal justice reform. Monique was elected to bring reform to criminal legal system that is fundamentally flawed in order to achieve equity and to move our system of justice forward. Now that's the second person that I talked about today that has that's a black female that's bad to the bone educational wise, and they're starting these reform programs. Even though it's only 45, the counties and the states that they're doing this in is incredible, because we're talking about super racist people down here, and you know that they dirty, because in the Armand Arbery case, where the prosecuting attorney recused herself from the case because the guy that was the father of the guy that shot Armand Arbery worked for her. So how you gonna, you know, send it? Okay, well, I'm gonna recuse myself from the case because he's a former employee, but I'm going to send him to another county for this to be tried. One of her friends, where the guy that she's sending her to is just as connected as the guy that helped murder Armand Arbery, the father, because what she did, she sent it to another attorney general, well, not attorney general, but another prosecuting attorney to handle that case in another county. And the guy who she got, son, works for her too, present day. So I don't know how the hell he would be able to try that case when he's connected to her as well. So all of this has been found out. She's been indicted. The other guy been indicted. And it's a black female prosecutor that's filed these charges and indicted them. And now they've got to go to court, and the proverbial feces is going to hit the fan, for use of a better word. So I'm going to go to the next one, because the list just go on and on. Okay, and that was, I spoke about Fannie T. Willis first. That was Monique Worrell from Orange County. Now this is Sataniah T. DeBerry. And you know all these sisters is black by their name. Fannie, Monique, Sataniah, Akila. Yep. So I thought that was pretty cool. Let me see. Let me look up Miss Sataniah T. DeBerry. Wait a minute. Short bio of Satana T. DeBerry. Satana. I really don't know how to pronounce her name. Okay. But you spell her name Satana. Satana. Or Satana DeBerry is a reform candidate in the race for district attorney in Durham, North Carolina. But let me go and go back, because that's talking about her campaign. I want to talk about her. Okay. What kind of society are we building in Durham, North Carolina? District attorney. She won that. She won that race, and so she's the head prosecutor in Durham, North Carolina. She said her election made history. Now she's grappling with what it means to run a law enforcement system that locks up people who look like her. One reason, oh man, I don't need no advertisement. One reason that the nomination of Kamala Harris is so fascinating is that it comes at a time when we are completely rethinking the criminal justice system. And Harris was a prosecutor from her time in San Francisco. How did I go to Kamala Harris? Oh, okay. It's saying here that Kamala Harris caught a lot of flack over her criminal justice record during the Democratic primary, especially from progressive wing of the party. Even so, Harris labels herself as a progressive prosecutor. We're always trying to come up with resolutions that is both fair and just, that takes into account not just the rights of the defendants and the victims, but what we as a community value. She's far from alone, but what does that label even really mean? When Satana DeBerry took the oath of office as district attorney of Durham, North Carolina in January 2019, it was a momentous occasion for the city of Durham and for her as a Black woman elected into an office historically held by white men whose tough on crime policies have devastated communities of color for decades. She ran her campaign being vocal about over-policing of Black and brown folks, promising sweeping reform. Now more than a year in the office, she faces the complicated realities of seeking to reform a deeply flawed criminal justice system and support the community ravaged by gun violence. She's learning that implementing change will be harder than she could ever anticipate. And so I can attest to that. North Carolina got a lot of racist people. The South, we already know all of this is what's brewing all over. It don't matter North or South. It's just a disparity in the justice system for Blacks. So let me continue. We recently interviewed DeBerry, who also stars in a new short film, I Am Not Going to Change, 400 Years in 4, directed by Angela Tucker and Christy Jacobs, and produced by Chicken and Egg Pictures as a part of a broader examination of progressive prosecutors and how the office has become a focal point in the Republican-led culture war over criminal justice reform. Just as St. Louis' first Black female circuit attorney, Kim Gardner, the prosecutor who recently charged RNC stars Mark and Patricia McCloskey. For more about that in our conversation, DeBerry opened up the challenge of tackling racial injustice and a pandemic in parenting teenagers, her sincere commitment to Converse sneakers, and the weight of being Black and progressive, and also at the end of the day, the one to put Black and brown people in prison. Watch the film produced in association. No, that's something else. That's a podcast. She said, my ideology is always how do we get to freedom, and how do we offer safety for the broadest number of people in our community, starting with those among us who have the least. There's been a lot of talk recently about progressive prosecutors. You describe yourself as one. So what does it mean to be a progressive prosecutor? For me, being a progressive prosecutor means that we are not just focused on punishment part of the prosecution. that first we understand the communities that we are a part of, the historical nature of the office that we hold, why those offices are the way they are, that we understand our communities, and that we're really focused more on accountability when we hurt each other, when we break our social contract as opposed to punishment. And so we are always looking at each individual case and trying to come up with a resolution that is both fair and just, that is equitable, that takes into account not just the rights of the defendants and the victims, but what as we as a community's values are. When she was elected, which reforms were at the top of her list? At the top of her list was to refocus the office from a steady stream of prosecution of low level cases to more serious cases in our jurisdiction, which I felt were being ignored. I felt like we were spending our community spending in our community a lot of time prosecuting people whose driver's license were revoked, and people who may have had substance abuse problems or may be dealing with issues of poverty and mental health, as opposed to really focusing on the more serious crimes and accountability for those. We are always trying in this office to be fair and just. That is how we make every decision. And I think for me, I am both a student of history and psychology. I'm interested in the way that our communities have developed, and I am also interested in the folks that come before me. So for me, my ideology is always, how do we get to freedom, and how do we offer safety for the broadest number of people in our community, starting with those among us who have the least. You are a Black, openly queer prosecutor in the South. Tell me, what's that like? And she says, mostly it's like being overworked. I am in what many people would call a progressive community in the South. I think the South is not a monolithic place, to use an overused term. It is a very diverse place, and it is certainly a very diverse place if you are a Black person. They are all types of Blacks who live in the South, who are from the South, who were born here, raised here, and who want to see it move forward. So for me, I think the most important things are that I am kind of from here, that I am rooted in North Carolina. I grew up in North Carolina. This is my home. And so there's a lot, I think, less attention on other issues. The most attention is on my policies and the work that we are trying to do. There's been a refrain recently that Black women are uniquely qualified to lead because we've been leading behind the scenes for decades. And so she says, I've I am not new to any of this. I have been practicing law half my life, and I have spent most of the time in advocacy roles. I have spent most of the time working for poor people, working for communities of color, doing community development, affordable housing work, health equity work. And so I like to say that I have been doing administrative support for the movement for a long time. And I think at this point, we are seeing those Black women who have been doing legal work, who's been doing organizing work, step to the front and say, look, we have been doing this work, and we uniquely understand the issues because we've been listening to people talk about these issues for decades. And we've been providing the service, and we now think that we should be in the policy arena making those changes. So, man, these women are doing some great things in the law system. And I just got a list here. I could be talking for another 4 hours just on another 2 or 3 of these great women that we have that are taking positions in lawmaking positions and in our judicial system of implementing new programs to hold the prosecutors and the judges and the police accountable for all of these people going to jail for a little or nothing of, that are black and people that are getting railroaded. So that's all of my time for today. But I do want to say that all of these women are like stem from Fannie Lou Hamer. She was the first black woman to help change laws in the judicial system with the Voting Rights Act. So, it's some black women out here that's doing some things that's changing the world. And so the brothers got to get behind these women. So when we have these sisters that are running for these positions, we need to get out and vote. And that's what I've been telling everybody. It's not so much the presidential elections. It ain't the big elections, the big federal things. That's important too. But it's your local government that we really got to get involved in. Get involved in your community. If you want to be a change and help change what's really happening, get involved in your local areas. So that's all I wanted to say today, folks. And tomorrow, Neela will be on. And so it's going to be thankful Thursday and wild and crazy, because whenever she get here, we're going to have some fun. So y'all have a blessed day. Stay safe. And reach back and give back. If you see somebody and it's on your heart and your spirit to give without asking questions. It don't matter what they gonna do with the money. You did your part. And, if they want to eat or buy a bottle of wine or beer or a pack of cigarettes, that's on them, but just keep your humanitarian level high and just love on folks and keep the vibrations high on the planet, y'all. We got to do it with love. We can't do it with hate. So y'all be safe out there. Have a good one. Bless up and peace out. And before I go today, I'll get fussed at if I don't. All right. And if you're really interested in the 45 new black female lawmakers, just Google it. Just say the 45 black female lawmakers and poof, it'll just run the list. You can go through the gamut of them. Yep. And it's a lot of positions that are being taken by black males too. So we're making strides in the judicial system. But I don't see the brothers. I'm not saying that they're not doing the type of things that the sisters are, but these sisters are activists in their position because they're doing things to right wrongs. So I don't know. I haven't delved into the brothers yet, so I ain't gonna comment too much on that because it ain't smart to speak on stuff that you don't know. Hey, Sister Marvette, how you doing? Glad to have you on this morning. I'm about to get off of here, but we'll be on tomorrow at the same time. I was just talking about the 45 black prosecutors and state's attorneys and judges and black strong women that we have in our judicial systems now that's changing laws. So y'all take a peek at that, and I'm out.